Decluttering your home isn't the hardest part of getting organized. It's not even close. It's the part everyone thinks is hard because it involves hauling boxes and finally getting rid of that third slow cooker. But the real work starts after the stuff is gone. And no one talks about that part, probably because it's messier than your Tupperware drawer, or at least my Tupperware drawer. I help people declutter their homes all the time. As a realtor, I've been in hundreds of homes, some beautifully staged and some so full of memories, no one knew where to begin. And here's what I've learned. Getting rid of your things is not the mountain. It's the warm-up stretch before the climb. People always assume that once the clutter is out, the peace will finally start to roll in. But spoiler alert, the calm you're craving doesn't come just from empty shelves. It comes from what happens after, when you start living differently in that new space. So today I want to talk about what really makes decluttering hard. And it's probably not what you think. First up, your stuff is tied to your identity, and removing clutter is, for many people, like ripping pages out of their autobiography. That collection of cookbooks you haven't opened in years. It's not about the recipes. It's about who you used to be or who you were meant to become. You didn't just donate a bread maker. You said goodbye to the version of you who was going to become the next great British Bake Off star. I see this all the time with clients who are downsizing. They say, I'm ready, and then stand in the middle of their garage sobbing over a box labeled Camping Gear 1998. It's not about the gear. It's about the season of life that's gone. Second, the emotional hangover is real. So after the adrenaline of sorting and purging wears off, you're left in a quiet house with fewer things and maybe a few more feelings. It's like a breakup. At first you feel free, and then the silence hits. Suddenly you're sitting in a room that feels echoey and weird, and you're wondering why you ever thought you could live without that broken lava lamp from college. You might even regret getting rid of things, which is completely normal, even though they were objectively junk. But regret is sneaky like that. It's not about the item, it's about change. And change is hard and uncomfortable. That discomfort, that's the hardest part, not dragging donation bags to the car. Here's the next level no one preps you for. Once your home is clear, your life has to follow. So decluttering creates a vacuum. And if you don't change your habits, that vacuum is just going to refill itself. And let me be blunt here. The world is doing its best to keep you cluttered. Your inbox is full of sales. Your feed is full of must-haves. Your neighbors are upgrading their outdoor furniture, and now you're wondering, maybe your patio chairs are looking a little tired and dated. We are constantly being sold the idea that happiness lives in the next purchase. So unless you actively shift your relationship with your stuff, that clutter is going to sneak right back in like glitter after a craft project. Finally, let's talk about maintenance, because living with less is a skill. It's not a one-time event. After that big declutter, you have to protect your space. And that takes more mental energy than people really expect. You're going to start noticing how quickly a drawer is going to fill up, or how easy it is to say yes to those freebies when you're checking out from a store, or how tempted you are to buy another basket just to make your closet look organized instead of actually being organized. This is the point where people start to panic. They start to ask, why does it still feel chaotic in here when I've already done so much work and gotten rid of so much stuff? And the answer is that because decluttering isn't just about removing, it's about rebuilding differently. And that's a whole new mindset. When we downsized from our big home in the suburbs to our current cottage in the Kawarthas, I thought the hard part was going to be figuring out what to keep. Spoiler, I wasn't even close. That part actually, it was kind of satisfying. What was hard was figuring out how to live in the smaller space without falling back into those old patterns. At one point, I caught myself standing in HomeSense holding a Live, Laugh, Lake sign that I absolutely did not need. And yet I was convincing myself that it would complete my space and make it feel a little more lake-like. It didn't. I put it back. And my space feels complete without the lake sign screaming at me, reminding me of where I live. So I want to know, have you ever decluttered something and then immediately missed it? Or maybe you realized the hard part wasn't the physical act, but everything that came after the fact. Drop it down in the comments. I promise you're not the only one struggling. So yes, decluttering your home is important, but if you're finding that peace still feels out of reach, you're not doing it wrong. You're just in the part no one warned you about. And if you're wondering what now, how do you build a home that stays clutter-free and actually works for the life that you're living today, then you're going to want to watch my next video. It's called the 3 updates you need to make even if you're not moving. Because sometimes the problem isn't how much stuff you have. It's how your space is working against you. Let's fix that next. I'll see you over there.